It's time to hack the movies. Today, we're talking about tapes with Tony and Newt.
Talking about tapes.
Hello, Newt.
Hey, Tony.
So there's a new Tom and Jerry movie.
You told me.
Yes, and I know that this is a Monday episode, so we're not going to talk about the new Tom and Jerry movie in detail. I will say that I have watched it. Mm-hmm. It is a movie. If I was 5, I'd probably love it. People are really losing their minds about this movie.
You told me.
It's just a Tom and Jerry movie. Like, it's stupid. It's not very good, but I watched it and I'm like, okay.
It was a movie.
Yeah, people were like real upset about it. But we had a last minute change in our schedule, so we had to come up with a new movie to review.
And I wish we would have reviewed the movie that we were talking about first.
Nope. So I was like, oh, you know what's topical? Tom and Jerry. And we have a secret system for when it comes to selecting films to review. They have to meet certain criteria, and then they are selected. And shockingly, the other Tom and Jerry movie from 1993.
1992 if you're in Germany.
1992 if you're in Germany. Overqualified for a review.
When you sent that to me first off, you called me last night.
I did.
And you said, this is Tony from Hack the Movies. I'm very famous.
Yes.
And then you said...
You never know.
I know. And then you said, we're going to watch this movie instead. And when you told me, I went, oh, that'll be funny. This was a miserable experience.
Yeah, so like I said, we have a secret ranking system, and this movie overqualified, and other movies have not.
Yeah.
YouTube search Alien 3. Please YouTube search Alien 3. Tom and Jerry, the movie from 1993 in America.
1993 in America.
But Germany got it first. You know what else Germany has, Newt?
What else?
They are the only ones allowed to watch me and Kieran's Wishmaster 2 review. The Wishmaster 2 review has gotten a copyright claim. We contested it. We did not win. And it is blocked in every single country except for Germany. So if you're in Germany,
you get to enjoy, because everybody keeps asking, where's Kieran? Where's Kieran?
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah. And I mean, if you have one of those VPNs, set that bad boy to Germany, and you can watch the Wishmaster 2 episode. So yes, Germany got Tom and Jerry the movie first, and then we got... I remember seeing this in theaters. I remember it's one of the first movies I can remember going to the theater to see. I remember there was like a big display with like all the cartoon animals, and Droopy Dog was on it. And I remembered a few things from it as we were watching. But other than that, the movie's very forgettable.
By 1993, I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
I was into the Evil Dead and horror movies and all that. No. I remember when this came out, and the only thing I remembered about this, when you said it, I was like, oh, that's the one where they talk.
Yes.
That's the only thing I remember about this movie.
Real quick, Newt. Who are Tom and Jerry?
Tom and Jerry were created by Hanna-Barbera.
Okay.
In like the 40s. Mm-hmm. And they used to be in a bunch of shorts.
Yes.
And they won a bunch of Academy Awards back then for their shorts, but they're just a cat and a mouse, and they don't talk. And
sometimes they don't. Sometimes Tom sang, and then one of my favorite bits is like he would get hurt, and he would just randomly have this scary voice where he goes,
they're what Itchy and Scratchy are based on. It's the old cat and mouse, and the cat's trying to eat the mouse, and the wanton cartoon violence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
And so MGM wanted to make a feature. Is this a live action?
They wanted to do a live action Tom and Jerry movie in the late 70s, early 80s. And I think it was going to be Dustin Hoffman and Chevy Chase. So would they have been in like costumes?
You know what oh God. Have you ever seen Boris and Natasha?
Yes.
The Rocky and Bullwinkle movie with no Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah. Yep.
It's Boris and Natasha, and they're going after Special Agent Moose and Squirrel.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it was something like that.
Well, do you remember they did an R-rated Benji movie one time, and Chevy Chase was a detective who got killed and got put into Benji's body, and he was like in England trying to stop Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman from getting killed, but like the dog was like hot for Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
No.
Yeah, that was a movie that came out.
No, I missed that
Yeah,
one.
it was like The Heavenly Dog or some shit like that.
All right, so they didn't make that version.
They didn't make that movie.
But they made this version.
They made this version. But, so this got changed because when Disney started doing their musicals again, like
Little Mermaid,
and all that
Beauty
kind of
and the
stuff.
Beast, yeah.
It was called the Disney's Musical Renaissance, and the producers of this movie decided, we're going to do that. So they hired Harry Mancini, who wrote Moon River for Breakfast at Tiffany's. The Pink Panther theme is his. He was coming off of Victor Victoria, which was and he was brought in with his writing partner to turn this into like an old style Hollywood musical. Other people have reviewed this movie. I've never seen those reviews. I knew that they talked. I didn't know it was a musical.
Yeah.
And
I had forgotten the musical part.
Because you said that, you're like, oh my God, it's a musical.
Yes. I'm trying to think. Like, I watched a lot of Tom and Jerry growing up.
Yeah.
I think I might have owned this movie at one point, but I don't remember rewatching this movie because it just doesn't feel like Tom and Jerry.
No, not at all.
However, the beginning feels like Tom and Jerry, but you also have a note here about the key. Explain the keyframe animation.
Kieran kind of explained it to me a little bit. I guess in this area they use a lot of keyframing. So this kind of looked like All Dogs Go to Heaven and Rover Dangerfield and Brave Little Toaster. Rockadoodle was another one.
Rockadoodle's right there.
Yeah. So they all kind of had that similar look, and that's why they were the Princess and the Penguin or the.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So this kind of animation would be fine for like a TV show.
Yes, this should
TV
not
movie.
have played in theaters.
Yeah, like when fucking you see Beauty and the Beast and shit, and you watch this, and you're like, these aren't even related.
No.
How are these even the same?
It came out July 30th, 1993, the same day as Rising Sun, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and So I Married an Axe Murderer.
My parents could have taken me to So I Married an Axe Murderer instead.
It came out number 14th in the North American box office that day on opening weekend.
Well, I was one of those people.
Wow.
I was there. I supported Tom and Jerry.
Fucking
I
idiot.
don't know why you didn't, Newt.
Because I was into like film at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
By the way, this is like a month after Jurassic Park, I think.
yeah, exactly.
I think of me as a kid, I probably would have been like, can I just see Jurassic
Can we
Park
see
again?
Jurassic Park again. So, how does this movie start?
It starts at a black void. The one from Stranger
That's
Things.
what I was thinking, yeah.
11 is somewhere in the background. And Tom and Jerry are doing their usual antics. Jerry brutally murders Tom at one
He
point.
gets cut up, and it's like the scene in Resident Evil where
Yeah.
he just splits in a bunch
Yeah.
of pieces. But unlike in the other ones, like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons, you see blood on the inside of him,
Yeah,
which I
that
was
was-
like,
that was a
whoa,
little-
we're
that
off
was
to
a
a
little
weird
dark.
start.
Yes, and then the movie proper.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we found out that trend of 90s, like people getting cut
Yeah.
and then sliding into pieces, was directly influenced by this movie?
The guy who made Cube was
Yeah.
like, I saw Tom and Jerry. So then the movie starts proper, and it's your classic Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Tom's hanging out. Well, he's got like an owner who's moving. They live in the Up House.
Yeah.
It's a tiny suburban house in the middle of a giant city.
Escape.
And typical Tom's chasing Jerry. Jerry's fighting back. Jerry has a calendar of sexy lady mice.
Which was weird. Inside his his hole in the wall,
Yeah.
there's like a calendar of a sexy lady mouse.
Yeah.
Tom lives behind the sofa.
Yes.
They moved the sofa, and he's like Harry Potter, like he lives under the steps. Who is the voice of Tom?
Tom is Richard Kind from pretty much everything.
Yeah, Bugs Life,
Bugs Life, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Gotham.
He was the mayor
Yeah,
of
he was
Gotham.
the mayor of Gotham.
You see him and you're like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, and then Jerry.
Quest of the Delta Knights.
Yes, yeah. Jerry was the girl who was the daughter in European Vacation.
European Make. Oh, yes.
And then like this is her last movie because she died of some kind of weird disease.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
That's
well,
depressing.
imagine the last thing you did was this.
This,
it's like
yes.
John Candy. He's like, I Wagons East. It's like,
Oh,
my-
right. So Tom's owner is leaving.
Yeah.
And he's getting ready. He gets in the car, but then they fight and they get left behind.
Yeah.
And they fight some more. He gets chased by a dog. What's the dog's name?
Spike. Yeah.
Spike. Who's in the new one?
Oh, is he?
And
Okay.
Bobby Cavanaugh does his voice. So Spike chases him back to the house. They're there. Next day, it gets demolished.
Yes.
And they're just on their own. Wandering the streets of the city that is unusually empty.
Yeah, it's like the Keanu Reeves in what's it, Devil's Advocate?
Where at the end he's just on that long stretch of road and everything is gone. Oh yeah, Tom saves Jerry from the bulldozer.
Yeah.
Who's his mortal enemy.
His mortal enemy. And I like that the movie teaches kids about gentrification.
Yes. Yes. So they're wandering the streets. They're getting kicked out of places.
Yeah.
They bump into
dog.
What's the dog's name? Dog.
I've been on the streets 2 years now. My owners left me behind when they moved. The name is Pugsy.
The flea is Squiggy, though, from Laverne and Shirley.
Okay, yes.
He was also the announcer in A League of Their Own.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the dog and the flea introduce themselves to them, and they're like, you guys got to stop fighting. We're going to teach you how fighting's wrong. Oh, no, before that, they're like, what's your names?
Yeah.
And then they both, Tom and Jerry, start talking.
I'm Tom.
I'm Jerry.
You talked!
Because we have known them since like the 40s, and they had no real, other than a couple joke one-liners, they had no real voice. Like, the voice just doesn't work.
Doesn't match with them at all.
It doesn't match what I thought they sound like. If I didn't even thought they sounded like something. I definitely did not expect Richard Kind's voice to come out of Tom.
No.
So the dog and the flea teach them a song about friendship.
Yes. And then they join in the song.
Yes, they join in the song about how they need to all be best friends.
Yeah, and then I thought that this flea and this dog should go to the Gaza Strip and sing that song, and then
get those two rapscallions to calm down.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we got to do.
All we needed.
Newt, why don't we go to the Gaza Strip and sing this two-of-a-kind song and see what happens?
I'm sure that'll work out great for us. Why don't instead we go to the Gaza Strip Club?
Okay, so after this song about how we need to be friends, we need to be friendly despite our differences, they're like, are you going to be friends now? And then Tom's like, Mouse, that's gross.
Yeah.
Like, you are racist,
that's
Tom.
super specious.
Specious.
Yeah.
You're very specious, Tom. That was like really mean. I'm like, wait, that should be a line that happens before the song,
and then the dog and the flea teach them, like, no, you guys got to work together out here because it's a dog-eat-dog world, you know? And no, and then
how does the flea help? Fleas are parasites. How does that help the dog?
Again, watching this movie, I'm like, Jerry, you danced with Fred Astaire. You're better than this, you know?
So the dog and the flea are gonna
Pugsley is his name.
Okay, they go to get him some food, but they get captured by the stray catchers
who look like luchadors.
Who I assume are bad guys.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, just because.
Tom has put Jerry in like a jar or something to get rid of him, but he gets confronted by a bunch of talking cats.
The Stray Cats, like the band.
The Stray Cats, yes. And then they also sing about how they love to be gross and do gross things.
But the one cat, like, I was like, is that a bear? Like, some of them have, like, mohawks and some of them have spikes, but one of the cats is, like,
they're doing the West Side Story.
Yeah, and the one looks like Heathcliff, you know? But not like the Heathcliff that was, like, the Garfield Heathcliff. It was the one that lived in the junkyard, who had the girlfriend who looked like she was wearing leg warmers, you know?
Yeah. So Tom just walks away from the song.
Yeah.
And me and you also were thinking of leaving the song.
Yeah. Like, what if we don't review this? Like, no one said we have to put out an episode on Monday.
Newt, as of this recording, we're up to 23,000 subscribers. We're putting a goddamn video out every Monday.
This movie.
We're up to 40 patrons.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And our Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition commentary track is out right now.
And I heard it was the biggest commentary track ever.
Yes, and you could go to patreon.com/hackedmovies to hear that. And me and Johanna's Godzilla 2014 commentary track.
But more Newt ones are better.
Yes, yes. What the good thing about 2014, though, is we saw that Godzilla 2014 got a 4K restoration where they actually make it so you can see the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can watch Godzilla 2014 for the first time.
And know what's going on.
And crystal clear quality, but also mute it, because who gives a fuck what they're saying, and listen to me and Johanna talk the whole time. Same thing with Batman v Superman. If you thought, wow, this movie's really long, it's hard to get through, me and Newt will get you through that movie.
Exactly.
Don't worry. Anyway, back to this.
So, yeah, Tom leaves, and then 21 minutes into the movie.
Wait, before that, the cats chase them, and he reunites with Jerry, and Jerry murders all the cats.
Oh, yeah. He like creates like a thing and opens the manhole, and they all fall in, and then he
closes
seals
them in,
it.
and we never see those cats
No, they're
again. I
dead.
don't think. Oh no, we do. We do.
Oh.
But at the moment, we think they're dead. Then you're right. 21 minutes. What happens then?
We meet Robin, our blonde Moffat runaway,
Yes.
and she's not at all surprised that a cat and a mouse can talk.
No, she's totally cool with it.
She's cool with it.
and also, she's the star of the movie now.
She's the star of the movie now. Sometimes, like, Tom and Jerry vanish from a movie called Tom and Jerry for large swaths of the film.
Not to bring up the new one too much, but a lot of people are complaining that the new one focuses too much on the human character. What I will say about the new one is that at least that human character is almost always accompanied by Tom and or Jerry.
Yeah.
This movie, the human characters are like doing their thing, and Tom and Jerry are just fucking gone for
yeah.
long
Yeah.
periods of time.
She ran away from her aunt Fig,
Fig.
which I love, and I'll tell that story later. Her mom died when she was a baby, and her dad is Indiana Jones.
He's Montana Jones.
He's Montana Jones.
He looks like Tom Selleck, who
yeah,
was going to be
gonna
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Her dad apparently was killed in an avalanche.
Yes.
Robin tells Tom and Jerry the story,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, you got to go home because they got plenty of food and a warm place to sleep. And they take him back to her house.
Yeah.
And the aunt is the woman who, from Facts of Life. She was
Yes.
the old lady, and
Facts
she's
of
like,
Life and the other one.
yeah, she's like the girls person.
Yes.
But Mrs. Garrett.
Yes.
Yeah, so-
she looks like a character from The Wall.
Yes, she does. Like, remember, like when the main character, like his mother in The Wall,
Yeah.
looks like that kind of animation.
Did you ever watch my review of The Wall?
I did, and it's a lot better than some other ones I've seen recently, and we're not going to say anything more about that.
I'm not aware of any other Wall review. Anyway. So yeah, the aunt is evil.
Yes.
And like she constantly calls the girl orphan.
Which is, we had a good laugh at that. They say orphan more times in this movie than they do in Annie.
Yeah. She also has an evil dog that's morbidly obese and has to sit on a skateboard.
And sounds like Gollum.
Sounds exactly like Gollum.
Yeah.
And Salvador Dali is her lawyer.
Yep. And the whole plan is they're gonna get her money because her dad's dead.
Yeah, they are legally in charge of her, so they are in charge of her estate until she's like 18, I guess. And as long as her dad is dead, they get control of her money.
Yeah.
And then they sing a song about how great money is.
Money is power. If it were food, it's a dish I'd devour every hour.
So the movie wants the viewer to be poor. It doesn't want the viewer to value money. It's like, hey kids, hey Tony in 1993, don't worry about money.
You little rapscallion.
Yeah, you know what, Tony? When you're older, don't invest in Apple, you idiot.
Yeah.
Or Tesla. That you investing in Tesla, that you just want to be an evil, money-hungry guy.
Yep.
Be poor, Tony. That's what this movie told me.
Well, hey, the movie
I'm
had
going to
me...
sue this movie for giving me bad financial.
That's a good idea. Oh my God. There's like an antitrust lawsuit that comes up recently over Tom and
Hey
Jerry.
guys, I know I'm financially unstable because this movie told me not to value money, and I took its word.
So the aunt locks the little girl in the attic.
Yeah, she gets brought back by the cops. You skipped ahead a little bit. The cops bring her back.
I thought she came back with Tom and Jerry.
The cops bring her back with Tom and Jerry.
Okay.
And then Tom and Jerry proceed to destroy the kitchen.
Yeah, they go like, oh, they're go get them something to eat because they look like they're hungry. And like the kitchen is just filled with, like the kitchen looks like the fucking Pan's Labyrinth where there's all the food and you can't touch it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, so they get into a fight and
With the morbidly obese dog.
with the morbidly obese dog. And this scene was actually okay because it reminded me
of Tom and Jerry.
of Tom and Jerry. Yeah, I'm like, wow. A bunch of rapscallions fighting and causing wacky hijinks. That seems like Tom and Jerry. Anyway, let's cut to an evil lady locking an orphan in an attic so she can extort money from her.
Yeah, because that's
Not
what
so much like Tom and Jerry.
kids love, that kind of stuff.
Kids love it. Oh, yeah. She has a thing where you can lock someone inside the door from the outside.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was fake in movies. You know how they do that? They like lock you from the outside and inside. But it's like, no, the inside usually has a lock. I thought that was fake until I lived in a house that had those locks. And I'm like, wow, this shit was based on real real. This is horrifying. So you're telling me someone in my house could have taken the keys and then locked me in from the outside and just lit the fucking thing on fire?
Did you ever hear about that woman? There was like a woman in like, I think it was like France in like the 1800s, and her daughter was going to marry a lawyer who was not of their like their standings.
Yeah.
So she locked the daughter in the attic for 25 years, and people who would go by would hear like a woman crying, and like their house always smelled, and finally they like broke it down and found that she was basically a human skeleton. And there's like pictures you can find online of it, and it's horrifying.
Yeah,
and
dude, I've seen Castle Freak.
well, okay, yeah, yeah, but it was like terrifying. 'Cause that's what I thought of this. I was like, what if this movie took that turn, and the Tom and Jerry movie becomes this like?
There's a bunch of stories of people who leave like their kids and stuff locked up for decades, like years and years and years. There's a guy who used to live by my parents. He was a creepy old guy, and he convinced an Amish family to gift their kids to him in exchange for money. It went about as well as you could expect, and his house was raided. And I went to like, because I'm like, oh, it was like 2 miles away. So like I drove down. And I just watched like all the police like raiding the house. And then I found out later on that like him and his weird children would like come to Office Max all the time where I used to work. And I could say that because that Office Max is demolished now.
There you go.
So I'm like, oh, I probably sold this guy a printer at one point. And he was just keeping the kids locked. He would bring them out occasionally, but then we'd keep them locked up. It was weird. So anyway.
So yeah, that's a weird turn.
Wow, who would have thought a Tom and Jerry movie would have us talking about child endangerment and imprisoning people?
We would probably have a better time if we watched the movie Room with Kieran's favorite actress.
Brie Kieran constantly talking about Brie Larson. He's real jealous of my cat, Raid Shadow Legends, the cat. He keeps saying, he's like, Tony, it looks like Goose from Captain Marvel. Can I please buy your cat? And I'm like, no.
Oh my God, I literally forgot there was a cat in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it scratches out Samuel L. Jackson's eye.
It ruins that scene from Winter Soldier when he's like, last time I trust someone, I lost an eye. And then it's like, a cat scratched you.
Yeah.
Way to ruin that. Anyway.
Was that the line in the remake of The Bad News Bears? He's like, I have eye cancer, and they don't like him run laps. He's like, really? He's like, no, my cat scratched me. Oh, what's the name of the lawyer?
What is the name of the lawyer? I totally forgot.
Lickboat.
His name is Lickboat.
He's Mr. Lickboat. Everyone in this movie's names are like
bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Okay, yeah. So then they call Dr. Applecheek.
Again, another name.
Yeah, and they're gonna make Tom and Jerry live with him.
And Dr. Applecheek is voiced by the guy who was Dr. Klopek in The Burbs.
Okay.
And he was also the leader of the Nazis in the Blues Brothers movie.
Oh, okay.
He's that little guy. Yeah. As soon as I heard the voice, I was like, oh, I know who that guy is.
So he immediately sings a song about how much he loves animals. And why does he love animals, Newt?
Because he like captures them and then sells them to people. Like,
I don't think that's as evil as the movie thing. Like,
no, originally what I thought it was that he kidnaps rich people's animals and then sells them back to them and says he found them. Which, after the Lady Gaga thing that happened last week, I was like, oh my God.
Oh God, yeah. So if he's like an animal doctor and he has a shelter, and he's taking dogs and cats off the street to find them homes for money, sure, but isn't that like a good
thing? Yeah, like everyone I know who has animals got them from a shelter instead of buying them from like puppy mills and stuff like that.
I got Raid Shadow Legends from a shelter Justin recommended.
Oh, you know how I got my cat?
How?
You made fun of me for this.
Oh, yeah, you pulled it out of a dumpster.
So it was snowing out, and I came out of the theater one night at like 2 o'clock in the morning taking out garbage, and it was freezing cold, and I open up the dumpster, and I go to throw the bag in, and I hear sounds, and I go, what the hell is that? And I turned my phone on, and I saw little baby kittens in the thing, and I jumped into the dumpster, and I took my shirt off, and I wrapped them in the thing, and then I took them to the emergency room. And
a human emergency room,
I didn't
like
know what
an
to
idiot.
do. I didn't know what to do. And the woman at the emergency room was like, really? It's like 3:30 in the morning, and so that's where I got my cat. So every time, 'cause I only have the one now, whenever she acts like a dick, I just hold her up outside, let her look outside and go, just saying.
So yes, you were shirtless and you fought racist on the way to the hospital. And there was an explode. There was actually, by the way, the way he tells the story, there was a fire on his way to the emergency room. He actually went in and he saved a family from
I did,
the fire.
and then there was these like super hot, busty nurses.
Yes.
And they're like, well, clearly you need to be rewarded.
Yes.
And they rewarded me.
Yes.
With a bill from the hospital.
What do you think?
And that's how I saved Christmas.
What do you think our cats do while we're away? Do you think they get into wacky hijinks like this? Hold on. We have people outside. We're closed. We're closed. These people.
I know. Well,
I know we stayed open all through 2020, despite what the governor wanted us to do. But occasionally we closed to talk about the Tom and Jerry movie, and I put a sign on the door that said, "Do not disturb." We're talking about
Tom and Jerry, 1993.
Yeah, not the other Tom. It's a very long sign.
But all the Germans in the area are like, 1993? Is there a different movie?
So yeah, Dr. Applecheek. I guess the one bad thing he does is, he's in charge of the
luchadors.
The luchadors.
Yeah.
He apparently was instructed to kill Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. So then they
Which, by the way, I don't know why, because this doesn't seem like a legit operation.
No.
They're like, make sure to kill them and like, just hit them with a hammer right now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's real easy. Real
Yeah.
easy. Hit them with the hammer, they're dead.
So, yeah, because his song starts out like, I love animals, and then it turns dark. They put him in the basement in a cage, and then next to them is Pugsley, the other dog.
Yes,
and
with the
he goes, oh, well, we got to get out of here because we got to go save Robin. They're like, well, the only way to get out of here is if somebody can squeeze through the bars.
We did skip something.
Oh.
We skipped something. Sorry. This movie has so many goddamn plot lines.
Yeah.
They found out that the girl's dad is alive.
He didn't die in an avalanche.
And he is going to come to America. And Tom and Jerry were going to let the girl know, but then they captured Tom and Jerry. But there's this, it doesn't make sense. The aunt and the lawyer want to stop the girl from knowing her dad's alive so they can continue to collect the money. But once the dad comes back, they won't have so their plan is pointless.
And it's like, oh, you were making my daughter live in an attic?
Yeah.
And I own a helicopter?
Yeah.
Well, you guys can go get fucked now.
Their plan goes out the window once he comes back. It doesn't make any...
But it's like one of those things where it's like the plan has gone off the rails, but we've already gone off the rails, so we have to keep going. And that, like this review.
Like this goddamn review. Jerry's like, I can go out there. Right?
Yeah, Jerry's like...
You know what? Remember when I said the asshole cats come back?
Oh, yeah.
I mixed that up with the 2021 movie.
Oh, so they're dead.
So, yeah, they are dead.
Okay, they are dead then. All right. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Both movies, they get sent to a pound.
There's really not a lot you can do with Tom and Jerry outside of... Well, no, you can. There was apparently a Fast and the Furious.
Oh, there's a Willy Wonka Tom and Jerry, a Fast and the Furious Tom and Jerry, a Martian Tom and Jerry. I have no idea what
I want to know about the Fast and the Furious one. Like, I kind of want
to... the furriness.
Oh, my God. Jerry, you can squeeze through the bars. And I'm like, the fucking flea could have done this the whole time.
Yeah.
So he flicks Jerry through the thing, and then Jerry starts pushing buttons, and then all the dogs and cats run up the steps.
Including Droopy Dog.
Droopy Dog.
Who should have been in this way more.
Yep.
He's like, hello.
And then, but then there's one scene that doesn't make any fucking sense. All the dogs and cats are jumping out the window, and then Tom turns into the open window, and it looks like he ran into a plate of glass.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, and falls down, but then they pick him up and throw him out when he just... And I'm like, did the animators forget to do the part where the window came down?
I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. But somehow they get back to the house.
Yeah, they knew how to get there. And they're like, we got to go save the orphan.
They don't know how to find their original owner, but they know how to get back to that mansion.
And the running gag is that Tibet is next to Cleveland.
Right. Because the girl's like, my dad's alive. We got to go to Tibet. They're like, do you know where Tibet is? She's like, no. And they're like, it's far. It's past Cleveland. So they think they're going to go to Cleveland. Meanwhile...
Did you ever see the movie Delta Farce with Larry the Cable Guy?
I think we have Delta Force here.
No,
we have Delta Force right there.
Okay,
but
Delta Farce is DJ Qualls and Larry the Cable Guy.
Right.
And they're white trash idiots, and they think they're in Iraq, but they went sent to Mexico. And that movie came out in 2009.
Sounds like a great movie.
Yeah, it was the same year as Who's Your Caddy?
Do not Google Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah, do not
Google the Cuties fan, Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the girl escapes with Tom and Jerry, and the dad finds out while he's in a plane.
He's in a helicopter by himself.
No, he's in a plane first.
Is he in a plane?
hasn't gotten to the helicopter yet. Yes. So
we literally just watched this movie, and I've been doing everything in my power. Like, I was in the bathroom before we filmed, like, maybe if I pour some bleach in my ear, like...
So he's already on his way back. All they have to do is just fucking stay.
Hang out.
Just stay there. That's literally it.
No, you have to set up... Like... God, just go ahead.
Oh, she sang a song. We forgot the girl sang a song about how sad she is.
Oh, yeah. And
because she misses her dad, and it shows her and her dad's like lake house.
Yeah.
Which we'll come back to.
And it sort of was like they tried to make it the Somewhere Out There song from an American... American Tail.
American Tail.
The second one was Five Goes West. I remember that.
Yes. An American Tail.
Yeah.
Five Goes West. Or no, just American. Yeah,
American Tail. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it does sound like that. I think they're trying to cash in on that.
So they hide in what looks like the foggy streets of London town.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, where does this movie take place exactly? Because their mansion looks like the one from the end of Beverly Hills Cop that they shoot up the drug dealers mansion.
Right.
And then I'm like, but wait, now we're in London? Like, where?
But they get a raft and they go into the water.
And now they're Huck Finn.
Yes, they are Huck Finn. So then the evil aunt and Salvador Dali.
And Fig. And the only reason I thought that was funny was because when I was my name's Newton.
Yes.
I don't know if we've met before.
Yes.
So people called me Fig my entire life.
Fig Newton.
So when I got to the 6th grade, I had a teacher who... She said that people calling me that was going to hurt me in the long run. So she started referring to me by my middle name. So she called me Robert. So a lot of people only knew me as Robert. And I'm like, no, my name is Newton. And they had to have...
You're Robert from Hack the Movies from now on.
I thought it was Nate from Hack the Movies.
Yeah.
But so they called my parents in because they said that I was having like a problem with my identity. And I'm like, no, my name's Newton. I write Newton on everything. But she wants me to be called Robert. And people start calling me Robert. And then I found out... After high school, there was a girl who I went to school with, and her name was Prism. Like, her birth name was Prism. Her parents were hippies. And they would only call her by, like, her middle name, which was, like, Andrea or Amanda or something like that. So I was like, oh, this chick was the woman. This teacher was trying to be, like, helpful, but, like, in the way that, like, the teacher in Carrie got everybody killed while trying to help Carrie. Like... I couldn't get a date to the prom, so I didn't get a chance to use my mind powers there.
Anyway. Yeah, so the aunt's making a plan, but I also skipped ahead. It's so hard to keep the plot of this movie in my head. Also, I shouldn't have watched 2 Tom and Jerry movies essentially back to back.
Nope.
So before the aunt's evil plan, our heroes are hit by a boat.
Yeah.
A giant ship destroys the raft, and instead of being sucked under the current of the boat into the propeller, which would normally happen, they get saved by a weird sailor, and we don't know who he is yet.
Yes.
Cut back to the aunt and Salvador Dali.
Yes, and well, the aunt is by herself, and she hears about the little girl.
Yeah.
And she says that they're gonna say that she's missing, and they're gonna put out a reward. And he's like, well, we don't have that kind of money. He's like, we're just gonna lie. And then the aunt's like eating a cannoli or something like that, and it gets like the juices get all over her hand, and she's on the phone, and she gets all hot, and she starts licking her fingers seductively.
Yeah.
In a children's film.
And it looks like shit. It doesn't look like chocolate.
Look like shit.
And they talk about how they're gonna lie, cheat, and steal.
So they
like Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace.
Now do something. I mean, lie, cheat, steal.
I lie, I cheat, I steal. I don't care if you don't like me. Everybody wants to fight me.
Latino Heat. I really like Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. I saw the documentary thing with him in it.
Yeah, it's really depressing.
But they put the little girl's face.
I got to see Eddie Guerrero wrestle twice in one night.
Did you?
Sorry, I know you love wrestling.
I am a big wrestling fan.
Please, Newt, stop sidetracking me with wrestling. We got to get back to Tom and Jerry.
That's right, yes. No, this is the first time where I'd rather talk about wrestling than finish talking about this movie.
So, wait.
They put her on a milk carton.
And I want to know, could someone, because we didn't do the research, because who actually really cares, could someone give me the research on like how effective milk cartons with missing kids were?
Wasn't there a book? Wasn't there like a young adult book called like The Face on the Boy on the Face on the Milk Carton or something like that?
That's like a thing I've always heard, like seen in like media and stuff. I'm like, how effective was it? And why was it just milk cartons?
I guess because everybody had milk.
I guess so.
So that means that if you were lactose intolerant, you were always part of the problem.
You find out years later, like, wow, guys, there's a lot of missing kids. Like, yeah, don't you drink milk? I'm like, no.
Oh yeah. Now you just see all those terrifying ones like at Walmart. They're like the missing kids one, but this is what they'll look like now. And I was like,
yeah. So anyway, who saves the kids, Newt?
Captain Kitty,
played by Rip Taylor.
Yes, Rip Taylor from Rip Taylor.
Yes.
Jackass 2.
He is an insane person.
Rip Taylor is in a movie called Chatterbox. Have you ever seen Chatterbox? Do you know what Chatterbox is?
Yes, I know what Chatterbox is.
Chatterbox is a movie where a girl has a singing, talking vagina, and she becomes a musical star. She has a singing, talking vagina, and it's called Chatterbox.
YouTube search Chatterbox.
I have the lobby card. Someone gave it to me, and I was like, what is this? And they're like, just look it up. And I did, and I was like, that's amazing. Also, why do you have that?
You know who has done a review on Chatterbox?
Who's that?
Our good friend Brad Jones.
That fucking guy.
Yeah, that asshole who puts out reviews the same day as us about the same thing.
We should get him to come here and be in an episode.
Yeah.
We'll fucking jump him.
Rip Taylor is an insane pirate. He was like a kids show host, or he ran the carnival.
Yeah, because he lives at a carnival.
Yeah. No, he was some kind of like show host or something.
Because he had a
parrot puppet.
But there was a kitty version of Pagliacci.
Yeah, Pagliacci, the sad clown.
Yeah.
Behind him, it's Rip Taylor's character is Pagliacci, and it's like Kitty Pagliacci. It's like, how do you make that for children?
Yeah, his fucking wife like cheats on him, and
it's a depressing story. Crazy Joe Davola in Seinfeld was really into it.
Yep.
So he's like, I'm just a wacky guy, and I'll take care of you kids.
And he's got a parrot that he's a split personality. He has a parrot puppet hand.
Yeah.
So he's like a Batman villain.
He's like a ventriloquist. By the way, did you get to the last season of Gotham?
I didn't.
I really love how they did the ventriloquist.
Oh, really?
So it's not the character from the books, right? So like for like 2 seasons, I think Penguin had a like lawyer guy who was working with him, and for a while he like disappears. The city goes to shit, and he finally runs into the lawyer again. He's like, "Oh, you've been doing this and this and this." Yeah. It's like, I've been working for someone. It's like, "Oh, okay." By the way, this guy seemed normal. Yeah. The entire time he was on the show, he's like, "Yeah, this is the person I'm working for," and he pulls out the puppet and starts talking to Scarface, and like everyone's like, "Well, that." Like everyone in the show is like, I didn't expect that.
But I thought like Scarface could be really cool in live action.
Yeah.
Like that would be a really unsettling thing, you know?
Yeah, you know what would be more entertaining then? Tom and Jerry the movie from 1993. I literally want to talk about anything else.
So Captain Kitty finds the kid and he sings a whole song about it. When I saw the thing was Captain Kitty's Playland or whatever. So when I lived in Arizona.
Oh no. No, not this story.
No, hold on. When I lived in Arizona, I was working all day, and my girlfriend at the time was working all day, and we forgot to get Halloween candy. And she's like, "Well, kids are gonna knock on the door." I said, "I've got a plan." So I wrote on a piece of paper Uncle Fisty's Puzzle Dungeon, and I put it on the thing. No kids came and guessed us. And we drank PBR and watched episodes of the Munsters. And
I thought you were gonna mention the story. Didn't you know like a Cuties fan who brought you to a shack or something?
Oh no, there was that too. I'll tell that story in another episode we have coming up. But
dude, how are you alive?
Like I'll go places sometimes and I'll just be like, it's almost like when I walk in the room, someone opened the puzzle box from Hellraiser.
So
the girl
sees the milk carton. Mm-hmm. And
what a coincidence!
And he's like, "I can have $1 million. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna capture this kid for myself."
So he shows her the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Here, go on the Ferris wheel." And she gets to the top, and he stops her.
Yes.
And at the same time, Aunt Fig and Salvador Dali are racing to.
Well, before that, they're talking to Who's the vet?
The guy from The Burbs.
The fucking
veterinarian.
Pickle feet? What was his name?
I don't know.
Anyway, they're talking to him, and he's about to say, like, he screwed up, but then he hears about the $1 million and where they are, so him and the luchadors are going to go there first to collect them. So, like, it's a race to the carnival now.
It's the ending of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, or Rat Race.
Rat Race. Yeah. The superior one, Rat Race. I don't watch boomer movies. I watch Rat Race.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, now it's like a mad dash there where, like, I mean, I guess technically Captain Kitty wins.
But yeah, but okay, so
the plan is to, like, get there, grab the girl, and collect the reward.
Yeah.
But the aunt wants to get there so she collect her herself and not have to pay. And then, like, the doctor screws up and tells the luchadors, like, I'm not going to split with you guys. You let the dogs out. And they're like, oh, well, you're out.
Who let the dogs out?
They let the dogs out.
Who let the dogs out?
I don't know who. Who?
Who let the dogs out?
They kick the doctor out, and then he steals an ice cream man's thing.
And it's so fucking creepy. He, like, comes at and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, their faces are horrifying in this.
Did the studio not...
Yeah.
Like, okay, Joseph Barbera was a consultant on this movie,
consultant.
Right? Yeah, exactly. They gave him a check and told him, mind your business, old man.
It's like when, like, they got, like, James Cameron to plug a new Terminator movie. And he's like, oh, it's great.
A Brinks truck full of money showed up, and he went, it's the best one since part 2.
Terminator 3, love it.
Yeah.
Oh, Genesis, so good.
Don't we have a bunch of fucking Genesis, or don't we have a bunch of Terminator 3 toys?
We
around
have
here?
a bunch of Terminator 3 toys. I can't wait to talk about Terminator 3, Newt.
Oh my God. Alien 3 or Terminator 3?
Alien 3 on our ranking system. Terminator 3 is fair game.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so they're racing there in their red car, the aunt and the lawyer. The luchadors kick the doctor out. The doctor almost gets run over by the aunt. And then he steals an ice cream cart.
Yeah.
So he
looks like Kincaid from Spawn.
Exactly. So they're all racing there to the fairground.
Yes.
Tom and Jerry are just gone.
I was about to say, like, hey, dude, I noticed you haven't mentioned Tom and Jerry lately.
They wash up on shore and they find Robin's locket with her name on it.
Yes.
And they're like, she must be around here somewhere. Same way they found her house, I guess. They have,
Yeah, and
plot convenience skills.
They find out where she is. They rescue her from the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
And everyone shows up, but she gets onto a steamboat, a ferry.
It's the ferry, but it's the Steamboat Willie one from the Mickey Mouse.
Willie's.
And then they also know how to drive.
They just know how to drive it because you just hit the red button. That's always what you have to do, apparently, according to this movie.
Well, yeah, because that's how you get out of the thing too. They to get out of the pound, they just had to push the red button.
Yeah.
Didn't Tommy Lee Jones say never to push the red button?
Yes, he did. He did in Men in Black.
Yeah.
Which how awesome would it be if we could review Men in Black?
So, yeah, there's a character in Men in Black 2 named Newton.
Oh, right.
And I bet you his teacher didn't make him call him Fig. Or Robert. I don't even remember my own stories now. So, yeah, so they're all racing there, but at the same time, the dad is in a helicopter.
Yes, okay. He runs to the helicopter, and the blades are spinning, and he gets into the passengers, or what I assume is the passenger side. So I keep thinking, I'm like, oh, there's someone else flying
it, yeah.
We will find out that is not the case.
There's no one in the fucking helicopter.
No. There's no one. It's a magic helicopter. So they're on the river. They're rolling down a river.
Rolling.
The sea captain Kitty guy, Cuties fan, Captain Kitty is in his like little motorized boat chasing them. Is the doctor still after them? Well, no. So the aunt and
I hate this movie so
the
much.
aunt and Salvador Dali are like, oh, how are we going to catch up to them? And the Salvador Dali's like, I know where she'll be. And we see a sign that says Robin's Nest.
Yeah.
And that's the name of her lake house. So he knows she's going to the lake house. And she gets to the lake house. And for some reason, she assumes her dad's going to be there. Even though she thought he was in Tibet. Does she think that's Tibet?
She tried to go to Tibet dressed in a raincoat. Look, she's been locked in an attic. She keeps being called orphan over and over again. She's talking to a cat and mouse that have never talked before.
Yeah.
This girl's been through a lot. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Sure. But they get to the cabin, and it's like the scariest reveal where the evil aunt's there with like the fire.
Wait, before that, the fucking skateboard morbidly obese dog
Almost drowns.
But the skateboard works like a surfboard over the water, and I'm like, that's not even by cartoon logic, that's stupid.
Yes.
This movie is stupid.
It's very
I hate this movie.
So they're like confronted.
Yeah, she turns on the lamp, and it's really creepy. It looks like something out of like a horror movie.
Yes, it's horrifying.
Daddy is dead.
And then like the place starts burning down.
Yeah, the lamp falls over and the place catches on.
Because of Tom and Jerry. I forget why the lamp fell.
I don't remember either. Again, hey, remember Tom and Jerry are in this Tom and Jerry movie?
Yeah. So everything's on fire.
And then the aunt and Salvador Dali are like, we don't need the money. Let's just get out of here and let her fry to fucking death.
Yes.
So they split. They're Audi 5000.
Yeah.
And she runs up to the top of the thing and then to the top of the house as it's burning down.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Indiana Jones, Tom Selleck shows up.
In his magic helicopter that's flying itself.
Maybe that's how rich he is.
Yes.
He has like a robot helicopter.
Yes. So he saves her, and then you think Tom and Jerry are dead. And I thought that'd be hilarious if they were dead.
Yeah.
And we were joking like it'll be like the Superman comics where Superman had the statue with the eagle, but instead it's Tom with Jerry on it. And everyone's like, I will never forget their sacrifice. If you seek their monuments,
simply look around you like Superman versus Batman.
it's just tiny holes in walls and mouse traps and cheese. Like, there's their monument.
So they
live.
They live, but it's like,
well, Tom lives, and he's afraid Jerry's dead.
Yes.
And this whole thing where like now they are best friends.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jerry, don't leave me. I love you, Jerry. You can't die.
And he's like, I would give you anything. I would give you all the cheese. And then Jerry's like, would you give me this and that? He's like, I would give you that. And he's like, oh, you're still alive.
Oh, yeah.
We've been through this whole adventure together. Now I'm going to kill you again.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole movie is like they have to be friends and work together. Yeah. They finally do that. And they finally care about each other. And now it's a happy ending. They're living in the rich mansion with the girl and her dad. Tom has his own little chair. Jerry has his own little tiny apartment with an awning.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Remember in the beginning of the movie, like Tom had an owner.
Yeah, Tom had an owner.
Who the fuck is Tom's owner?
Look how nice that mansion is. Would you care?
Yeah, the fucking homeward bound animals found their way to their fucking family. A version of the Milo and Otis ones did, not the ones that started the movie, but another cat and dog that sort of looked like that. Yeah.
It's the second time Otis. We talked about it on the Godzilla podcast.
Oh, really?
I dropped that bombshell on Sean about Otis and Milo.
Yeah. When I heard that story as a kid, I was like, "That's fucked."
Yeah, I think I ruined that movie for my cousin.
Did you ever read We Three?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Grant Morrison, Frank Quatley. It's my second favorite graphic novel ever.
Yeah.
Look up, if you're a comic book fan, look up We Three. It made me cry. Yeah. It's Homeward Bound meets a Paul Verhoeven movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, your first favorite is Holy Terror. Anyway, let's keep going. You're a big Frank Miller fan, huh?
Before we knew the extent of his issues.
So they're there, and it's like, all right, big happy ending. Nope. Tom pulls out a mousetrap, like a mousetrap intended to kill mice. And he sets it down, and of course Jerry hits him with the tail, and then they fight at the end, and then that's the end. That is an hour and 19 minutes of movie.
Yeah, I asked you how long this was, and you said an hour and 19 minutes too long.
Yeah. The whole movie is an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, but we had enough.
Yes. This is awful.
Yeah.
This is, and I put a poll out today when we're shooting this. I'm like, hey guys, which movie was worse, the 93 one or the new one?
Yeah.
And people are overwhelmingly picking the new one. And having just watched them both, the new one is so much fucking better than this, and it's not that good of a movie.
I haven't seen it. You were explaining parts of it to Justin and I last night.
Yeah.
And I said that.
It's just... It's stupid. It's mostly about a girl who's lying to get a job in a hotel, and the hotel is very anxious because there's going to be this big rich wedding that's happening there, and everything's got to be in order, but there's a mouse that moved in. So the girl finds Tom, and she's like, we're going to get this mouse together, and then there's a bunch of wacky hijinks.
But that at least makes sense, that they need a cat to get rid of a mouse, and it's Tom and Jerry doing Tom and Jerry shit.
And Tom and Jerry are fighting each other constantly. They get in a wacky situations. situations. The Spike shows up. The lady,
You said Droopy Dog shows up.
Droopy Dog's in a couple scenes. The lady cat that Tom really likes. So I was watching with my girlfriend, and for some reason, it awoke in parts of her brain. She started remembering the entire Tom and Jerry lore.
Yeah.
And like Tom starts singing a song on a piano, and it's T-Pain's voice, but it's similar to a song he would sing in the old cartoons. So I know it was the wraparound was like the story about the girl, but all the Tom and Jerry stuff felt like Tom and Jerry stuff.
So Mammy Two Shoes wasn't in it?
I don't think Mammy Two Shoes was not.
Maybe that's when they leave back.
That's when they leave behind.
Yeah. Although Whoopi Goldberg did do that was like the 75th anniversary. She did do a piece for Warner Brothers about representation.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was a negative connotation of that whole thing, but
just
young people had not seen people of other skin tones and things.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can go with you on that one.
That's not to get into a political topic here. People complain about old stereotypes in movies and shows, which sure were negative, but what they don't realize is like, without those stereotypes, those people would not have even been on TV.
Yeah.
Like, that's Italians probably wouldn't be characters and stuff if, Hollywood didn't make us violent murderers for years and years and criminals. But, eventually those stereotypes went away and now we can be in regular movies. Like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Those were all stereotypes.
Yeah.
But people liked seeing like, oh, wow, these are people from all walks of life.
And they're working together.
In a better
world.
To understand them better. Of course, the Scottish guy is a drunk and whatnot. And the Russian guy can't pronounce his W's.
Yeah.
And it's very, very stereotypical.
Uhura is the language person, but by Star Trek 4, she still can't understand Klingon.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Sometimes stereotypes, even though they're negative, they have a place. And the thing is, like, they eventually need to go away.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't go away. Is the problem.
Like this movie.
This movie needs to go.
It should have stayed in Germany.
Yes.
I know there's some bad things that came out of Germany.
This is on the list of things Germany has done. I'm putting this top 10. So yeah.
Oh
no. Newt, how'd you get that scar on your arm?
Oh, from the Power of Love video where I was Marty McFly. That came out last Friday.
Sure.
This came out. I want everyone to know that I was on I'm Marty McFly in the video. I get deep faked, and I'm coming down a hill.
You look just like him.
I look exactly like him. So I'm coming down a hill on a child-sized skateboard because James ordered the wrong size skateboard. It's windy as fuck. It's cold as fuck. And I'm holding 5 or 6 clocks. And Justin's behind the camera. He goes, just go forward and Tony will catch you.
This isn't my fault. The skateboard was not meant for this kind of thing.
No.
So I'm underneath the camera like this. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to catch you. And like at the last second, the skateboard just shifted you to the left of me. I'm like, oh no.
And I went over top of you and I ripped a giant chunk of my arm off that's finally starting to heal.
But
you cut your finger.
I cut my look at that. It's still there. Don't ask me how I'm doing. Sure. So what I'm trying to say is Newt's a crybaby.
I'm a big crybaby. And you got back at me by making me watch Tom and Jerry.
So here's the point I want to make. Can everyone, and they probably will because I doubt anyone's going to care by the time this comes out, can everyone shut the hell up about the new Tom and Jerry? Stop complaining about it. It's a movie for babies.
Give it like a month and everybody's going to start bitching about fucking Space Jam. Like,
yes.
Ooh, the original one was bad. I hate Space Jam.
Yeah.
Space Jam and Hook are 2 movies I fucking hate.
We'll get to those one day. But no, like the new movie, like sure, it sucks if you're an adult. But like if I was 5, I would have been entertained by it.
But I don't think people would have been entertained.
This is not entertaining. I saw it as a kid and I didn't remember a lot of it. I can remember Tom and Jerry episodes. They're wacky. They're funny. This is a miserable movie.
It's a miserable, mean-spirited movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really depressing and it sucks so much. I don't care if it's 2D animation and you hate CGI.
And the 2D animation looks terrible.
The 2D animation looks shit in this.
Jerry's the wrong color half the time.
Yeah.
He's like gray.
So bad. It's so bad, and I feel bad for making this episode because now I've just reminded everyone about the Tom and Jerry where Tom and Jerry talked. That's literally the only thing people can remember from this movie.
No, that's
That's the one where they talked like normal, and that's it. You know what's a good kids movie?
What's that?
Shrek.
Shrek is a good kids movie. We should do Shrek.
I should, you know what? I'm thinking of doing Shrek. I think I might shave, so I just have a little bit of a mustache.
People do
if
like your mustache.
But if people don't like it, the episode after that, I'll have a thick beard.
Do you think Justin will come talk about Shrek with us?
You know what?
We should
invite Justin to talk about Shrek with us.
I'm glad that we're coming up with this now and not filling this in episode.
Yeah, it's not like it would.
It would be weird if we shot the Shrek one already
and we were comfortable, and I was about to edit it, and then we realized something got screwed up
in the schedule.
And now we just spent our whole workday talking about Tom and goddamn Jerry.
When I'm trying to put the AVG Endgame out on PlayStation and Xbox, yeah. Fuck this movie.
That's the end of it.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.